Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. At this point, I'd like to ask you to take a seat. Please sit in the chair with your name on it. That's important for the presentation. Each chair has a name on it, so please take the chair that has your name on it. And we'll get started in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, let's get started. On behalf of the University of Amsterdam and the Finance Department, I want to wish a warm welcome and congratulations to all of the students in this room. It's a great honor for you to be able to complete the Master of Finance. And I also want to welcome all of the family members and congratulate you as well, because any academic achievement is not just an individual achievement, but an achievement of the entire family and support network. So all of you deserve congratulations. Just a few ground rules on the ceremony. In this afternoon's ceremony, we are congratulating students from the asset management track and the quantitative finance track. And there will be a mix of speeches by different faculty and students combined with asking students to walk across the stage. So for the asset management students, when it's your turn, please line up everyone behind by the stage here. For quantitative finance, we'll call you row by row. You can walk across the stage in front of the podium. Due to COVID, there will be no handshake, but you can take a diploma and have a photograph. And you can turn the tassel during the photograph or right before your photo is taken. There will be no group photo at the end, but we will have drinks and a boral at the end of the ceremony. Okay, so without further ado, my name is Tomislav Ladika. I'm an associate professor in the finance department and also the director of the Master in Finance program. And so I'll give a few words reflecting on the students and their accomplishments to open this ceremony. So when I started thinking about how to describe this year's cohort of graduates, the first word that popped into my mind was this word, grit. And then I looked into it a bit further and I read the technical definition to see if it fit. And the more I read about it, the better it actually seemed to match the experiences of this cohort. So it is often referred to as perseverance and passion for long-term goals, especially in the face of various obstacles and challenges. So that's the definition provided by Angela Lee Duckworth, who is a psychology professor who kind of pioneered the study of grit. But you don't need a professor's words to understand what any cute little baby also would know. Specifically, what challenges have students from this year overcome? Well, first of all, majority of classes were held online in the past academic year. And when I say majority, it might even be all of them, but I'm not 100% sure. There might have been a few real estate courses that were held in person in the early fall before lockdowns began, but for sure most of the students in this room have taken all or almost all of their educational activities online. So that was one challenge. All exams were done online, remotely, with digital proctoring. And students have told me, quite a few students have mentioned that taking a digital exam is actually significantly more challenging than doing an exam on paper. Then restaurants and cafes closed down for almost 2/3 of the academic year. And I want to emphasize, this is not just about not being able to socialize and have fun. The fact that also many university buildings were inaccessible during the year means that students didn't have a chance for informal interaction with each other that actually can help academically. So in past years, for example, when you'd work on a thesis, that is independent work, but you might go to a library or cafeteria and see your classmates, share your progress with them, talk about problems you're having. All of those things were largely not possible in the past academic year. Now, those are the challenges that the students have overcome. As a faculty member, I could spend a lot of time talking about the challenges that we faced as well, but I think this quote really just summarizes it perfectly. Going into the fall, I pretty much knew what I was supposed to do, but in a much larger sense, I had no idea what to do. And this really perfectly describes my experience trying to record my first video clip for the first lecture. Sounds simple, just record yourself giving a lecture. I really had no idea how to actually do it though. So you all faced challenges, and you all kept your eyes on a long-term goal, which is, of course, completing a master's degree. So that is exactly, you have all shown grit. I should mention, by the way, that psychological studies find that grit is a better determinant of future success than other measures of intelligence. So you have that going for you, and perhaps now you can rightly feel like you have overcome you've surmounted the twin peaks of overcoming a master's degree, which is a challenge in any year, and also completing the year with completely online. So you should all feel really good about what you've been able to accomplish. But don't get too happy yet, because the presentation will turn dark in a few minutes. Reflecting just a little bit on where you've been, maybe this is also useful for family members to know what you've been doing in the past year. Every student in this program has graduated from, one of 2 tracks, but more broadly, there are 5 different tracks in our program. And besides asset management and quantitative finance, we have tracks in real estate finance, corporate finance, and banking and regulation. The purpose of the tracks is for students to, number one, have a study experience with a small cohort. So even though it's a big program, they get to take classes repeatedly with a small number of the same students. And the track courses prepare them, they give them skills to prepare for the specific career paths that they've chosen. So students who want to work in asset management need a certain set of skills. People going into quantitative finance need a slightly different set of skills. The program features a research-based philosophy that encourages or even forces students to develop critical thinking skills. So to give one example, financial media there's no shortage of people these days who are willing to offer their opinions on various economic events, like, for example, why Dutch housing prices are so high. But what we train our students is not just to offer their opinions, but also to formulate hypotheses that match their opinions, to collect data, and then to actually test whether their opinions seem to match what's in the data. And then further to present their findings in a way that's accessible for people outside of finance. So hopefully all of you have gotten these skills or mastered these skills in the past year. You've also taken unique state-of-the-art courses. Like many of you took the quantitative finance and algorithmic trading course. That is a brand new course. You were the first ones to take it. I hope it wasn't too rough of an experience. And all of you completed an individual thesis, which is really just writing an academic paper, and the standards that we set are really quite high, and the students meet them. And finally, you've had exposure to cases and guest lectures held by people in the finance industry, many of them based in Amsterdam. This slide shows the members of our finance department, the vast majority of whom either teach courses in the Master of Finance or supervise theses. So all of you should recognize quite a few faces on this slide. More broadly, as you graduate, you're going into a job market that places a high amount of value or high demand for your degree. So here you see the survey from last year for the most highly sought after master's degrees among Dutch employers. It's organized each year by this organization called Magnet.me that surveys companies in the Netherlands. And you can see that our program ranks quite highly among all master programs. So there is a lot of demand for your degree in the job market. But you are also graduating into a profession and society that takes a slightly more skeptical view of the finance industry. So many of you were probably quite young when the financial crisis happened, but that was really a turning point in how society at large viewed the finance sector. Many people felt that the finance sector was directly to blame for the crisis, or at least significantly exacerbated the crisis. Moreover, going forward, you and society as a whole will need to tackle two really significant problems of climate change and growing economic and social inequality. And many people are questioning the role that finance has played to exacerbate these problems. So looking very critically at the type of firms that the finance industry has given funding to over the years, and how those firms have contributed to either the global warming or to inequality. And in recent years, I've started to see a rising sentiment of people questioning whether capitalism works at all, or, as you can see in this headline, whether finance does any good for society. So you have to trust me, I'm not that old, but when I was a student, it was almost unthinkable that these would be mainstream sentiments. But nowadays you hear them more and more often. So as you go out into the industry, as you become professionals, you are entering a society that is somewhat skeptical of the value of your degree, the social value of your degree, and what you learned in the past year. Now, I am an educator, so one of the characteristics of educators is that we like to give unsolicited advice, or at least I have a habit of doing that. And I know all of you want to celebrate and look back at what you've accomplished, but this is my last chance to give a bit of advice, so I couldn't resist the urge. So I wanted to focus on two questions that I actually think about quite a bit, and that I think will define your work in the finance industry in the future. So the first one is, do investors care only about money? And now, some of the family members might groan at this point, it's obvious that people care about more than just money. People in finance really are out of touch. But, it's relevant because our traditional finance theories viewed investors as caring about only returns and risk posed by security. So that's the Markowitz portfolio model. It's been around for more than half a century. All of you, especially in asset management and quant finance, you all should know it really, really well. So we trained you to structure investors' portfolios by maybe using an optimizer tool that focuses on risk and returns. And for those of you in this room, you've looked at other factors, but they're really just more complicated ways of measuring risk, like skewness and different measures of volatility. But modern investors are exhibiting increasingly preferences for things that are not directly tied to risk or returns. For example, sustainability. Quite a few investors value sustainability for the sake of it, not because it generates higher returns per se, but just that is something they value. Or they worry about the negative effects of, or negative externalities of investing in securities that generate or are tied to high emissions. So one thing that you need to think about going forward, your role in part will be to help clients who care about more than just returns and risk. And one of the roles that you can play in the future that creates value for society is to produce information about what type of investments are sustainable or can help reduce global emissions. So producing this information is value that you can provide and you probably will need to provide to society. Number 2 question, why don't most people invest? In fact, the majority of Dutch households don't own any stocks or bonds, and this is not just in the Netherlands, it's also similar in the US and I would guess almost any other country. So, I have to show some data. Just to highlight the point, this is from the CBS from last year. The number of households, about 7.7 million, have bank accounts. Only 1.2 million directly own stocks or bonds. And the amount you can see on the far right column is way less than the amount that is tied to real estate. So why this matters is because it can really exacerbate social inequality. Any new innovative technology will produce a lot of profits and wealth for the developer of that technology. So if you think about the latest advances in AI or COVID vaccinations and treatments, those are highly profitable innovations. But who gets the profits? Well, it is the owners of the firms that created them. Those are shareholders, people who own stocks. So when the majority of people don't own stocks, all the returns from innovation will go to a tiny fraction who, for the most part, tend to already be the most well off. So I think something that will be a defining issue that you'll need to work with in the future is helping build trust in financial markets and reduce barriers to participation. These are intangibles, but they produce value for society. And the consequences of not doing this will be that we have to live with a society that is unhappy with finance and questions the role of finance for helping the broader, what can finance do for the majority of people? So finally, each year I also like to focus a little bit on the skills that are necessary for finding a job. So this slide is based on a quote from Scott Galloway. He's an NYU professor of marketing, a prominent blogger, also tech entrepreneur. It is very common for people to say during a ceremony, follow your dreams, do what you love to do. That is important, of course. You need to enjoy what you're doing, or at least tolerate what you're doing. But the point of this slide is we're all in this room, in some sense, economists. The market doesn't just look at what you love to do. There is also demand for your skills. So you need to focus on things that employers demand and things that you can be good at relative to others. So those 3 things combined determine your future career path. Okay, so enough of lecturing. Now let's move on to the fun stuff. First of all, Distinguished Thesis Award. We had a number of students who wrote really great theses defined as, they got grades of 8.5 or higher. So I want to briefly distinguish them. The students on this list all had theses with grades of 8.5 or higher. So that's Sarah Bogard, Jorge Adrian Droga, Anita Hegedus, Maxime Van Horn, Julia Yefanova, Andrei Jozik, Echert Gerrit Kriek, Alexandra Kutanina, Yekaterina Ulyanova, and Kun Svetlus. Congratulations to all of you for a very good thesis. One thesis in particular, so I read all of the theses of the students on this slide and students from the previous section that had distinguished theses. One student in particular, the thesis really stood out even compared to all of this select group. So I want to congratulate the winner of our Best Thesis of the Year award. which is Jorge Adrian Druja. Congratulations. Please come up for a moment. Thank you. What I really liked about Jorge Adrian's thesis, it was the topic was the explanatory power of short interest and its decomposition. And what really stood out for me when I read the thesis, many students take empirical measures that have already been developed in the literature. I mean, I do it as well. It's, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You take methods that have already been decided or built before. Jorge began by doing that, using standard measures of short interest, and he noticed that they were highly correlated with each other. So looking at aggregate and industry and firm-specific measures of short interest. By the way, short interest is the amount of shares that are sold short, which is essentially a process by which investors bet that or predict that the stock price is going to go down. It's a strategy for investing in stocks that you anticipate the prices will go down. And Jorge went for a step further and took those existing measures and decomposed them further. And I thought it was a really unique approach, and I could tell he spent a lot of effort thinking about what the right empirical measures were. So congratulations once again on your thesis.
Thank you very much.
We also have 2 students in this section that received the cum laude distinction. This is an honor for students who get a grade of 8 or higher in the vast majority of their courses and do not have to take resit exams. So our 2 cum laude recipients are Joop Doornbos and Koen Zvetlus. Congratulations to both of you. After you graduate today, you will officially be alumni. I want to briefly encourage all of you to take a look at our online alumni platform and, in fact, sign up for it. That is, it's a new platform, bridge.uva.nl. You get lots of information on this website about different events and information relative to alumni. And I encourage all of you, stay in touch with the university and stay in touch with each other. You will benefit from the networks that you've formed going forward as professionals. And by the way, in 3 years, I will need you to fill out a survey so we can get into the Financial Times rankings. So I'll be in touch with you, but please sign up for this so I can still keep in touch. Okay, next, I would like to turn over the podium to Yao La from the Asset Management track, who will give a few words reflecting on your shared experiences from the past year. Yao, please come to the stage.
Hi everyone, and dear fellow graduates. First of all, congrats to everybody obtaining your master's degree. By making this far, you're already doing great. And I'm really glad to see some familiar faces. And you guys definitely look so much better than in the Zoom. Sorry, Zoom. Yeah. Today is our day to celebrate the graduation ceremony from the University of Amsterdam and sort of from University of Home. And I'm really proud of all of us. It's my great honor to be here, and luckily this is happening. I remember last year, we all started with this inaugural setting and didn't know when it will be over. At this point, we're all hoping that we could go to uni, maybe by the end of this year, and then till March, and then eventually, this is not happening. So now it feels a little bit unreal. Sometimes when I pass by some campus looking at the students there, and they are taking lectures or they are having fun together, it reminds me so much how I miss this good old time. And yeah, maybe there's lots of us, including me, never have a single chance to go to class at UVA and didn't have the real Amsterdam student life, but maybe perhaps it's the best choice to graduate just in time. Of course, on the other hand, it made us going back to school becoming such an exciting event and made us value the normal things that we used to take them for granted. Even though we were not having so much luck last year, on the good side, it pushed us to make the best use of it and find our wisdom to make a way out. I chose the track asset management. So far, I didn't regret it. During the program, I really gained lots of deep understandings and insights which prepared me well. So when I'm really in the asset management world, it is quite intense for sure, but it is also very straightforward to understand. And I met so many people who helped me a lot and gave me great life lessons. My favorite part of the asset management is that as a buy side of the investment, it provides us with very high platform, so we could engage with companies that we invest in, so we could actually make a good impact to be more sustainable, for example. So far, I really enjoy working in this field. Although it was quite challenging last year, to be honest, studying all the time at home, holding on to all kinds of pressure, difficulties, we are all strong enough to manage it. At our age, when life can be so floating and there's lots of uncertainties, either of these uncertain factor change will easily affect our life. But we meet our life on the right track. So I suggest today, besides for sending thanks to people who kindly helped, supported us during this year, you should also appreciate yourself for giving your best efforts to your ambition with this amazing dedication, determination. Maybe several years later, we may still be very proud of us. Looking back to the COVID time, we didn't just do something easy, happy, by miss nothing or losing hope, but instead we choose something needs hard work, but pays off in the long term. And it is the very thing which made us great. Last of all, I wish you all have a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your great speech, Yao. Next, Alex Andanoff, who is the track coordinator for both tracks here and taught advanced investments. Alex will also say a few words to the students.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Tom. So great. It's very nice to see you here at this beautiful ceremony. I think it's great to see you finally in person. I recognize many faces, but up to here. So it's really great to see you here in person finally. I think you waited long, and it's good that it finally is paying off. So I'm pretty sure when you joined our finance program, you had very different plans about your studies. Moving to Amsterdam, enjoying the student life, visiting our beautiful campus, attending lectures, etc. Things worked out very differently. But I think as Tom said, and I think he used a much better word than me, you had a lot of grit. So I think your generation showed enormous kind of resilience and also solidarity with the rest of the society. During your studies, you sacrificed a lot for greater good, for the better of the society, for everyone to move forward faster. And I think this is very important because it will teach you how to use also finance to reach a greater good. I also think that you showed a lot of patience and persistence, and these are also very important characteristics. I mean, studying is hard. Completing master studies is hard, but studying alone is even harder. And I think many of you, some of you didn't even come to Amsterdam, so you're visiting it for the first time today. And I think studying alone, being able to intrinsically motivate yourself is so important, and please try to maintain and build these characteristics going forward in your career. I think if you maintain this level of resilience, patience and persistence, you will have a great career ahead of you. I also what I think is very nice is that given all the things that you faced during your studies, you're not afraid of uncertainty. I think pretty much you faced as much uncertainty as possible during your studies. So now when a lot of new opportunities and challenges arise in your career, I think you will be ready to take these challenges. And I think you will be ready to move forward and to be very successful. So overall, I can tell you it was a great pleasure teaching you last year. Even though it was online, I really enjoyed our debates, discussions, presentations during the advanced investments course, during the thesis seminar, during the thesis supervision later. So I think it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I want to wish you at the end all the best in your personal life as well as in your professional career. And as Tom said, I think even though you were online, I think you managed to build still very strong connections with each other. So keep these connections going forward. And what's also very important, keep a close connection to UVA. I think we like to stay in touch with our alumni. As you know from my course, for example, I like to have a lot of guest speakers. And then it's even better when the guest speakers are former alumni, so then they can show the path to the new generations that are coming. Thanks a lot, and big congratulations again.
Great, thanks, Alex. At this point, I'd like to welcome the asset management track to come stand by the stage, and you will be called one by one to come across the stage, take your diploma, and take a photograph. Wait, I should call out the names. Our first graduate, I am not certain if Abderrahim Darkawi is here, but he graduated from the asset management track with a thesis on comparing classic characteristic portfolios with characteristic efficient portfolios. So congratulations to Abderrahim. Next, Jorge Adrian Druja. Jorge's thesis, as I already announced, was on the explanatory power of short interest and its decomposition. Congratulations to Jorge. David Katz. Congratulations, David. David wrote a thesis on responsible investments, the sensitivity of environmental, social, and governance-rated mutual fund flows during market crashes. Congratulations, David. Yao La. Yao wrote her thesis on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the private equity market based on the market price. Congratulations, Yao. Giorgio Reggio. Giorgio's thesis examined the effect of real estate prices on corporate savings. Congratulations once again to Giorgio. And once more, a congratulations to all of the graduates from the asset management track. Before we congratulate the quantitative finance students, I would like to invite Alexandra Kutanina to reflect on on her experience in the QF track.
Good afternoon, respected professors, administrators, parents, and the amazing class of 2021. Before I start, I would like to thank all the teachers for coming through for us this year. Congratulations. We've made it, all the hard work has finally paid off, and we are all ready to take the next big step in life beyond our masters, hopefully our career. I was lucky enough to be chosen to speak today before all of you and reflect on our collective journey in our masters. And if I were to think of one word to describe the journey, it would be not great, but challenging. I'm sure all of you heard this word countless times over the last year, be normalized into a word that correlates directly with COVID-19 and all the governmental measures. But here, my intention is to connect this word with all of you. You're the class that has done something never known before. You're dare enough to start a next step in your education in the middle of the global pandemic when everything in the world was uncertain. And for sure, it has been a roller coaster ride, from week-long quarantines to distance learning, and from proctoring exams to endless Zoom tutorials. All of our crazy roller coaster rides have been challenging, never seen before in the history of education. We managed to graduate from a full-time master's without being able to meet our peers in person and attend a single class for QF track. And I'm extremely happy to be here today and see everyone in real life. Living in such challenging times made us cherish the small yet important aspects in life. All the student association events or house parties, which we would never attend before, now seem like a perfect getaway and must attend. And despite all of that, we formed relationships with the people we love, people we care about, people that went on this crazy journey along with us. The journey with Zoom tutorials and exams, while we are being stressed out of the countless deadlines. I've now learned how to foster a relationship through these tough times, quite literally finding the meaning behind the saying, through thick and thin, at a much younger age than other older folks. We were thrown into this thunderstorm of uncertainty and irregularities throughout the year, but we fought through and found the ways to solve them. Learning from this experience, I'm sure all of us will remember the families and friends we created amongst ourselves that looked out for each other at every step of the way. If there is one sentiment I want you to take away from this speech, it's this: you're all capable of taking as many obstacles that may lie on your lifetime in any country in the world at any time of the year. You have all faced a challenging master's degree experience that has never happened before, and you overcame it, made it worthwhile. Congratulations.
Okay, I would like to invite quantitative finance students to begin lining up along the stage, starting with the first row here in the center. And I should mention, if there was any doubt, in the next 5 minutes you'll see that I'm not a native Dutch speaker, so I apologize in advance for mispronouncing any mispronunciations of names. Okay, our first graduate, Dior Adel. Dior wrote a thesis asking, can high-frequency data help improve volatility forecasting models? Congratulations, Dior. Renze Algra. Renze wrote his thesis on a study of intra-industry, cross-country return predictability along the supply chain. Congratulations, Renze. Damian van Bakum. Damian wrote his thesis on the January effect, evidence from the Netherlands. Congratulations, Damian. Sarah Burgo. Sarah had one of the distinguished theses on the impact of artificial intelligence on bank performance. Congratulations, Sarah. Lizzie Tabrak. Lizzie wrote her thesis on the dynamic relation between economic policy uncertainty and stock market volatility, using evidence from the Netherlands, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. Bess van den Brink. Bess wrote a thesis on the regulation of non-financial reporting, a study on the effect of the non-financial reporting directive on ESG performance of large European companies. Congratulations, Bess. Yaodan Chang. Yaodan wrote a thesis asking, does liquidity affect investment investment sensitivity to stock prices. Congratulations, Yao Dan. Jakub Darzuk. Jakub wrote a thesis on the effect of policy uncertainty and institutional quality on stock markets during the COVID-19 pandemic. Congratulations, Jakub. Martin van Dieten. Martin's thesis examined the effect of price informativeness on deal completion in mergers and acquisitions. Congratulations, Martin. Joep Doornbos. Joep graduated cum laude with a thesis on ESG investing and alpha-generating strategy, asking whether it's an alpha-generating strategy using evidence on multiple screening methods for the US stock market. Congratulations, Joop. Tom van Esseveld. Tom wrote a thesis on optimal allocation and diversification. Bart de Graaf. Bart's thesis examined the effect of institutional ownership on return predictability. Congratulations, Bart. Roy Hageman. Roy's thesis examined the information hidden in corporate social responsibility disclosures, a text clustering approach. Congratulations, Roy. Aline Heesen. Aline's thesis examined conventional and unconventional, the effect of the ECB's monetary policy changes on stock market returns. Congratulations. Anita Hegedus. Anita's thesis examined the effect of green bond offerings on the issuer's different asset classes and won a Distinguished Thesis Award. Congratulations, Anita. Glenn Hendricks. Glenn's thesis examined the market response of depository receipts following two-way tariff announcements, evidence from the US-China trade war. Congratulations, Glenn. Maxime Van Horn. Maxim earned a distinguished thesis on the topic of profiteering from tribalism in crypto. Yulan Huang. Yulan's thesis examined the effects of supervisory board's features on firm performance in China's state-owned enterprises. Congratulations, Yulan. Yulia Yefanova. Yulia also wrote a distinguished thesis on the topic of noise trader risk followed by synchronization risk, using a cross-section of expected returns. Congratulations, Yulia. Andrei Jozic. Andrei wrote a distinguished thesis examining the compensation of top executives of U.S. university and college endowment funds, a pay-for-performance sensitivity analysis. Congratulations to Andrei. Raquel Crespo van de Kooi. Raquel's thesis examined economic divergence and financial interdependency in the European Union with an empirical study of sovereign risk component of EU stress tests on the CDS market. Congratulations, Raquel. Ahert Herrit Krieg. Ahert wrote a distinguished thesis on unconventional monetary policy and the investment policy of U.S. public pension funds. Congratulations, Ahert. Alexandra Kutanina. Alexandra wrote a distinguished thesis on hedging the risk against climate change using Twitter and a mimicking portfolio approach. Congratulations, Alexandra. Gijs van Langen. Gijs wrote a thesis on the effect of algorithmic trading on market quality during adverse market conditions. Congratulations. Eveline van Loo. Eveline wrote a thesis on the effect of cash holdings on corporate investment during the COVID-19 crisis. Congratulations, Eveline. Maria Lisikov. Maria's thesis examined R&D expenses and patent metrics, asking how does the relationship evolve after a firm's initial public offering. Congratulations, Maria. Mohammed Malul. Mohammed's thesis examined COVID-19 vaccinations and the efficient market hypothesis. Congratulations, Mohammed. Nicolo Melacarne. Nicolo's thesis asks, do quant equity trading strategies outperform an equal-weighted benchmark strategy? And used evidence from cross-sectional momentum and reversal in country equity indices and ETFs. Congratulations, Nicolo. Trang Nguyen. Trang's thesis compared the effectiveness of asset pricing models on unexpected scenarios using the COVID-19 crisis in European financial markets. Congratulations, Trang. Emil Nijboer. Emil's thesis asked, is the stock return predictability on the stock market of smaller European countries time varying? Congratulations, Emil. Dewey Postuma. Dewey asked, what is the impact of intangible assets on stock return volatility? A study of the US's most intangible heavy index, which is the NASDAQ 100. Congratulations. Fena Ratz. Fenna's thesis asked, is there intra-industry contagion of indirect financial distress cost? Congratulations, Fenna. Romuald de Romas. Romuald's thesis asked, what is the effect of a firm's collateral value on its cash holdings? Congratulations. Milo Ronchetti. Milo's thesis examined augmenting asset pricing models with investor sentiment and empirical analysis. Congratulations, Milo. Dani Saharso. Dani's thesis examined the impact of private equity fund size on performance, with an analysis of different ways to influence the size of buyout funds. Congratulations. Yekaterina Ulyanova. Yekaterina's distinguished thesis examined peer-to-peer lending, an insight on the role of unsecured finance in the conventional banking industry. Congratulations to Yekaterina. Yves Angelo Ferbond. Yves examined the rise of the machines, the accuracy of a simple LSTM neural network in forecasting volatility during periods of financial distress. Congratulations, Yves. Jurian van Walsum. Jurian's thesis examined or compared publicly accessible and private ESG ratings on European stocks. Congratulations, Jurian. Adrian Martin Wigman. Adrian examined algorithmic traders and their role as stock market liquidity providers, and in his thesis asked, will that role persist? Congratulations, Adrian. Thomas Winkler. Thomas's thesis was a behavioral analysis of mispricing in special purpose acquisition companies, or SPACs. Congratulations, Thomas. Ingwen Xie. Ingwen's thesis examined was a research on takeover premium of private equity exits. Congratulations, Ingwen. Martina Jekova. Martina's thesis asked, what is the effect of the level of ESG factor scores and their change on the performance of firms, using evidence from both European and US markets? And Koen Zwetsloot. Koen graduated cum laude. He wrote a distinguished thesis on the topic of private equity performance in emerging markets compared to developed markets. Congratulations, Koen, and once again, congratulations to all of our quantitative finance graduates. One of the graduates, Renze Algra, will give a brief speech. Renze, please come.
First of all, I'd like to thank my family for helping me endure this time, and thank the university for all their, effort in making sure that we could actually be here tonight. It was a really hard time. We all experienced, I think. And I just want to congratulate every single one of you on achieving the award, which I think will only be given once in a lifetime, so enjoy it. When I actually wrote this speech, I actually looked back on all the time that I had over here for like 4, maybe 5 years, some of you. And it actually felt like ages ago. But, I mean, it really changed a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I started working, and I sit still behind the desk, still behind the monitor, in my home, maybe going once or twice a week to actually the firm that I'm working at. I think the only thing that really changed is now I'm getting paid to do that. On Mondays to Fridays. And when I started looking back on that, I actually learned a few things, but the most important thing that I did learn is that I kept with me during that time is through all the courses that I took and all the exams that I took and all the classes that I took, is that the classes and exams that took me the most energy is the ones I didn't like. And the ones that I did like, well, they took me the least amount of energy. I guess what I'm trying to say here is very simple. Do something that you like, and it will not cost you anything. It will only cost you. It will only give you joy. I hope you find that all. Thank you, and enjoy your evening.
And I would like to welcome Professor Jeroen Lichtering to give the stage to give reflections as well. I think it's very appropriate that Jeroen will be speaking to you because he created the Master of Finance program in its current form several years ago. So the reason that you were able to follow an asset management or quantitative finance track was the work of Jeroen. He was also the program director for, I believe it was 8 years before me. So Jeroen, please come up to the stage.
Thanks, Tom, first for this very nice words to introduce myself. My name is Jeroen Lichtering. I'm currently also co-chair of the finance group, so also on that behalf I'd like to speak, and I'd like to say a few words to you. First and foremost, all of you, congratulations. Also on behalf of all members of the finance group, we are extremely proud of you. This was an impressive and very tough and challenging year, and you made it in the end. And that's really one big applause for that. You've gone through an enormous difficult time, so absolutely we valued it highly, what you did. You started this program under severe COVID restrictions, and I've been looking actually myself at how this works, at how you do your exam when you're at home, behind your desk, frustrated because the internet is not working properly, or you're being thrown out anyway through the technology that did not function. It is enormously stressful. And I've seen literally what it does to you. So in that sense, I'm really more amazed that you are all managed to get through this and to be able to do all your exams, to finish the courses, which were challenging before, but now even much more. And I really respect that highly, and also all the other members in the finance group actually respect your work enormously. And I think Tom said it very well in the beginning, that something that you all have now, that's something so valuable. This grid is so valuable in your future lives that definitely it is going to help you a lot. So first, I wanted to express that. Studying is not only working. It should be something that binds you together. It should be something where you meet people, where you go to pubs, to bars, where you discuss all kinds of things, spend all the time, have the time of your life, create friendships. I hope that despite the fact that it was mainly an online experience here now, that you still managed to do that and build those relationships. And I'm really happy that at least once we are able to see each other here live. So in that sense, I'm really happy. I'm very happy that we still managed to do this. And I don't know what's next week, how it looks like next week. But at least for now, we managed to do this at least. So I'm really happy and proud that we are able to organize this. As Tom mentioned, I've been working to set us up initially this program. I'm really happy to see it develop. If you see how it developed, how it get on this list, I think I'm really proud of the people in the finance group. But it's mainly you. You are making the quality of the program. The students ultimately are the best representatives, and you make ultimately also the program. So definitely keep on going, and you have such a lot of grit here anyway, so you will definitely gotta be a large, good people continuing with this. Ladies and gentlemen, today our students graduated and received this Master in Finance in the specialization Quantitative Finance and Asset Management. They're in high demand, as you've seen. But yet also in a changing world where you literally have to realize your responsibility. We at the University of Amsterdam like to grow our students as critical, independent minds, and sometimes we hate that as lecturers, to be honest. But when they are there, ultimately, that's what we want to have. We want to have critical thinkers, people that are independent and really independent minds. So we are confident that you take this role further and take this role into the transition of finance in the world of finance, and take your role into this very significantly. So, all these years, you studied. You studied, and it was already mentioned in the speaker before, that now it's the time to migrate, or maybe you already did migrate a little bit, to a different life. A different lifestyle, although changes are not that big anymore, so if you just move from one desk to the other, same desk but now getting paid, well, there is a huge difference, but still, it is a bit unfortunate. We hope this will pass by very quickly in that sense, and we really hope that you'll be able to work under normal circumstances and that you'll be able to develop yourselves in that world. For now, I'd like to congratulate first everybody else, also the family and everybody who has supported you over this year. I think that's also going to be a really extremely important role that you've had to support them. I hope that you can build on those friendship and the relationships in the future. And I'd like to, apart perhaps from the few suggestions that Tom made here already on your careers, what you should do and how you should figure out, perhaps one thing that I could add here. So become scarce, make yourself, position yourself well in the job market in the future as well. So find something that you really like, was already mentioned and also put forward. But I think what is also very important, do not become a manager, at least not too fast. If you become a manager already early on, that looks like very interesting and very great, but in the end, what is really necessary in network environments nowadays is that you develop your skills and the skill set very much, and your needs, that's going to be much more important than just become a manager, because this middle management is typically cut out as the first lines when there are kind of reorganizations. And we're moving to a slightly different world here. So take that into account. We hope that you can all look back at a great period in your life. Unfortunately, last year was difficult and tough and challenging, but well equipped with an excellent degree, you are in a relatively very good position to enter the next stages of your career and your life. Keep the good memories from this period, from the time that you spent here in and around the university. Maintain your network and friendships, and stay in touch with us. As Yuva Bridge was mentioned, please do so. It enables us to reach out to you, and you can stay in contact in a very easy way in that sense. So really would like to emphasize that. We wish you, and I wish you on behalf of the whole finance group, we wish you all the best, and we really hope to see you back once in our faculty. Thank you very much.
Just a couple notes as we are wrapping up. We are about to get the Boro started. You'll see drinks and snacks behind you. The room is going to close at 6:30, so that's in about an hour. So just so you know, the room will close at that time. You will receive by email information about how to access photographs. In a moment, I'm going to ask all the graduates to stand, but stay in your places for like 30 seconds or so we can get plenty of photographs of you. Okay, so once again, I want to thank all of the speakers today. Once again, I want to congratulate all of the students and their families. You can now please all stand up as official graduates of the Master of Finance.